What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RaceDudes.com, and welcome back to another one of our videos as we kind of recap the Breeders' Cup / move on to what's next, as the Breeders' Cup is now behind us. A lot going on in horse racing right now. I think one of the things that it's kind of up for debate is who's going to be the horse of the year. It seems like a pretty wide open category this year, which is ironic because most of our individual categories seem to be, pretty much decided. But horse of the year, I think it is debatable. So I would go through the I want to go through, I should say, the 5 horses that I think, have a chance. And I think realistically, we kind of know 1 or 2 that it's actually going to be. But 5 horses I do think should be mentioned for horse of the year. I'll start with number 5, Up to the Mark. I feel like, he did lose at the Breeders' Cup in the Breeders' Cup turf. So that is what it is, right? I mean, there's no doubt a loss is going to hurt you in this situation. But let's not forget about Up to the Mark. He has won 3 Grade 1 races. All of them have been really tough spots for him to win. And then he also he also beat most of the best horses in the world, as far as turf racing goes, at the Breeders' Cup. The one he could not beat, August Rodin, did get the job done, but Up to the Mark was right there with him. So he faced what I thought was the toughest field of the Breeders' Cup, and he ran very well. He was not disappointing whatsoever, got second, but the loss is probably going to hurt him, where the win probably would have made him, the horse of the year. So Up to the Mark, definitely one that should be involved. You got to talk about Idiomatic. Yes, her 5 straight wins did come against all female horses, and I think that, that's a little bit of a problem for her without any doubt. But 3 straight Grade 1 wins, a Grade 2 and a Grade 3 involved in that 5 race winning streak. You got to just tip your hat to her this year. I'm sure a lot of people may not realize this. She only lost once all year long, and it did come at Belmont Park. So she went 8 out of 9 this year. Hats off to Idiomatic. She was fantastic. She definitely should be mentioned, winning 8 of 9 races, 3 straight Grade 1s, and 5 in a row to end the season. So Idiomatic, certainly another one that should get some recognition. How about Elite Power? You go to the sprint division. Elite Power suffered just 1 loss this season, and it was a second-place effort in the forego. Other than that, all he did was, just go over to Saudi Arabia and get a big victory there. Then obviously, wins the True North Grade 2 race at Belmont. Did win the Grade 1 of Vanderbilt at Saratoga. Well, like I said, lost that forego, which honestly, that forego loss may have cost him horse of the year when all is said and done. And then, of course, I thought his win in the Breeders' Cup Sprint was just brilliant. Back-to-back great performances for him. 2 Breeders' Cup wins there. So I think Elite Power certainly deserves to be, in the mix for sure. I think at the end of the day, though, this thing's going to come down to 2 horses, White Abarrio or Cody's Wish. And I think that's where the debate is going to land. When you look at these 2 horses, White Abarrio is nearly impossible to get a good read on as far as, hey, how am I going to handle him as far as voting for a horse of the year? I think as of right now, as a racehorse, you got a real good read on him. He's elite. But right now, when you look at a whole body of a season, how am I going to vote for this horse? I had forgotten this horse was in the Pegasus and ran 8th in the Pegasus, nowhere to be found. He dropped down to an allowance optional claiming race in 1, going 1 turn there at Gulfstream Park. He then was 3rd in the Met Mile, another 1 turn race going a mile. I thought he ran very respectful that day, but then he just burst onto the scene with 2 races that were just unbelievable. The Whitney Stakes was incredible, enough so to where I thought he would win the Breeders' Cup Classic as I handicapped it this weekend, or last week, I should say. It worked out, but I thought he was just as incredible in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I thought that was a very good effort. You take Derma Sotogate out of that equation, who just was fantastic, ran a great race off of a long layoff. Can't give him enough credit, but that's not what this video is about. Take him out of the equation and say he runs kind of like, mid-pack or whatever. He dominated the Breeders' Cup Classic. Like Proxy would have been second in that situation, and he's just kind of fast closing, passing horses. White Abarrio dominated that race. So that's back-to-back dominant victories in the Whitney and the Breeders' Cup Classic. He has that head-to-head win over Cody's Wish. He does have a loss on Cody's Wish as well. People forget he was in that Met Mile that Cody's Wish won. So White Abarrio, who could blame anybody for making him the horse of the year? And then finally, Cody's Wish, the last one we'll talk about, going 4 for 5 this season. Before we even start this, my condolences, thoughts, and prayers go out to the family of Cody Dorman, who passed away. I mean, this is like an incredible story. Passed away after with complications traveling home from the Breeders' Cup, per the reports. So, just an incredible, story there that, the day the horse quits running, Cody, the human, passes away. Awful situation, but boy, just makes you wonder, right? But anyway, let's talk about horse racing, though, with this video at least. Cody's Wish. The horse went 4 for 5 this year. Really a great season for him. 3 grade 1s and a grade 2 victory. Of course, that only loss, we talked about it. White Abarrio beat him pretty badly there in the Whitney Stakes. But, you look at that, it's obvious Cody's Wish just didn't want to do that. He did not want to go that distance. So I think you look at this thing now, he did have more grade 1s than White Abarrio. It's 1-to-1 as far as head-to-head matchups with the 2 horses. So I think end of the day, Cody's Wish is probably going to get this award. I just feel like the story behind him is also, these people that vote on a horse of the year are humans, and that they're going to take that into account. I just think Cody's Wish is going to win this thing, but I really can't blame anybody. If you vote for any of the 5 that I just mentioned, I really can't blame you. I mean, this is just a very debatable, situation this year with Horse of the Year. My prediction on how this thing's going to shake out: Cody's Wish will be first. I believe White Abarrio will be second, and I think Elite Power will finish third in the voting, but after that, it's really hard to tell. But I do think Cody's Wish will get crowned Horse of the Year. Going 4 out of 5 and winning those grade 1 races, 3 of them being grade 1 races, I think we'll end up pushing him over the top. It's been a really fun debate. Right after the Breeders' Cup was over, we went out to dinner with John White, and we talked about it and debated it at our table there. So I think people will be talking about this for the next couple of months. In the end, though, I think Cody's Wish will end up being the Horse of the Year with White Abarrio right behind him there in second. All right, guys. I'll do it for a little bit of a video here on what's going on with the Horse of the Year situation. It sure is going to be fun to see what the Eclipse Award voters will actually end up doing. So thanks, everybody, for watching this video. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And we'll see you for the next one.